Beloved heart, I invite you to sign up to my mailing list, and as a result of signing up, you will get a free gift. It's a 5D rebalance tune up of all the chakras, and chakras are my specialty. So I would love to gift you with this transmission that is filled with light language and codes to help you stay balanced and tuned up during these increased frequencies of energy of this ascension, this new earth frequency. So check out the links in the notes of this show, and I look forward to connecting with you. I am sending you love. This is the transfiguration of the new you. Hello, beloved. I'm Monica Bermudez. I will start with a personal story. In 2013, I remember a very vivid, clear dream one evening where I saw a man who appeared to me in a house. And he has such an intense amount of love, and we connected at the heart chakra level so deeply. I've never felt such intensity in my heart chakra ever. And I felt a tremendous amount of connection and energy as well as remembrance. Although I didn't know it at the time, but when I had awakened from that dream that felt so real, and I do feel that it was real, that it was some kind of astral connection in another realm, that was the first time that I learned about twin flames. But what I'm learning now from this is that there was also an activation that occurred to get me on the path to my spiritual business and mission in life and what I'm doing right now, that I've been so activated into it, and it has been repolishing and expanding even more so. And so that was the time that I learned about this whole thing about twin flame. And ever since then, I've been on this path of this twin flame journey and twin flame information that led me to many studies, different types of studies on it that I'm going to share here in this podcast, in this episode right now. And want to share more about some of the things that I found in some of the ancient writings that had been already discussed. And also, I received some channeled messages, download of information as I was journaling some information. And all of a sudden, I had this huge download of different information on twin flame that was very unique. And some of these are characteristics of different types of twin flames. And I'm going to discuss all of this, right? Discuss what twin flame is also, and also how this all applies to us in our life, in our, the energies that we have. Because I've talked about it, in some of the episodes, but I haven't really dedicated an episode on all of the twin flame energy. And in my last episode, I do talk about twin flame soulmates and conscious dating. So I want to talk more about the energy of this, as well as other, things in a mix of it, and share some insight, some information, all for the intention of activation and to expand. And so that is my passion is the energy of the twin flame. For one, it was so passionate in me and so interesting to me that I even got certified to be a twin flame alchemist. And I studied intensely a lot of the divine feminine and sacred feminine energies in an actual university known as Aphrodite University. And so I do hold those degrees in those areas, and as well as, the personal experience that I've been having in my own expansion with all of this energy as well. So to jump in, the twin flame is really about one soul that was split into two different souls and were sent to two different physical bodies and so forth. And so all have twin flame. And so, but not all of them, not all are contracted, not by soul contract to be united here on this earth. It's different for everybody. And so it just depends on the soul contract and the agreements made before incarnating. And so one of the reasons why I also, I guess, didn't talk about it so much before is that I wanted to avoid some of the confusion and not have people to get too attached to the word or the idea. And I know it could be like a tricky thing, right? But it's one of those things that also requires a lot of discernment of the heart and a lot of healing as well within the heart to really get that discernment and not be from an ego base, but be from a higher aspect, soul level self where you remember and you're activated in those areas. And so I just want to emphasize those points. And that is the reason why I also had the episode on the art of detachment to discuss some of those points as well, because it also builds on some of the discernment within ourselves and knowing where we're navigating in those areas. So this is the area of the twin flame, and it's really about what's in your heart and your own calling and your own desire. So if you are feeling super excited about this and you feel like there is a connection in this, then there is something with you in twin flames. And so just to kind of talk about some of the ancient texts, a lot of the ancient civilizations like Lemuria and Atlantis did embody this concept of the twin flame or embody this energy, let's just say. And it also included some of those who were united as well. Again, it's all dependent on what the soul contract and agreement is. And for that reason, I'm going to jump into some of those discussions as well. Some of those main missions for the twin flames, the top ones that I was channeling, and I want to share that as well too. But just to discuss some of the texts that do talk about this. So, for instance, in the Greek mythology, there is a symposium that was written by Plato. In there, he talks about a being, human beings, some of the original human beings that had four arms and four legs and one head, but with two faces. And because the Greek gods, this is Greek mythology, they felt so threatened by these humans that were united as one. There was like two humans in one, basically, that they were just too powerful being together. So they ended up separating them. So that's, one version of the story. So I do feel there is some truth to some of these mythology and legends and stories that we hear, that there is some truth to them. Then in Hinduism, they also talk about the twin flame concept or the energy of it. And they mention it by Lord Shiva uniting with the goddess Parvati to symbolize the perfect balance of masculine and feminine. So it's like a spiritual completion. So they use the word, it's called like Ardhanarishvara. Probably not saying it right, but it's a long word. And so that's what they meant. It was like this union of Lord Shiva with goddess Parvati. So the twin flame, though, it's also, it goes beyond the sacred, it goes beyond this whole thing about companionship and romance. I mean, it can have those things, but it really goes beyond that because I feel in my heart, and it's, coming from more of the channeling as well, that it is more of this mission focused of, working together on a very specific mission that is needed at this time. And so to be, with the twin flame, as I've mentioned before, it's a very intense mirror. It's like 10 times more of a mirror that is reflected. So it could reflect any doubts that may still be lingering around or any other type of fears that may still be around. And I know that, I've heard of cases where some twin flames have come earlier and haven't completely healed. And so that's why you hear about these twin flame separation or the twin flame running, because it is just too intense. It's like looking at yourself in a mirror, like literally. So it's really a version of you, and they have like the same frequency at the soul level. So there is that resonance and that intensity that comes with it. So that is, why twin flame energy is really not for everybody. And oftentimes, um, most some souls will choose not to be with their twin flame for different reasons, because they have a different purpose and a different mission. And it's not that there is anything wrong with that. I just want to clarify that, you know, um, if soulmate or, your divine partner is the right match for you, then, or, the match for you, then that's appropriate for this lifetime. So that's why I just want to explain, this whole thing about twin flames. And so it goes on though in some of the other ancient texts, like in the Kabbalah, it also mentions about it in Kabbalah, but they refer to it as twin souls. And so this is like symbolized actually by the six-pointed triangle, or as it's called, the Star of David. So it's interesting because the thing about the triangles, because what it is, there are two triangles that are interlaced. And so triangles for me have always been a symbolism of manifestation, because each one of us has the ability to manifest in our own way, which means we have the ability to create and shift our reality in different ways. And so when you have these two triangles, you're putting the double enforcement of energy on manifestation, of creation. And so that will give you a clue on one of the missions for the twin flame union. And so Kabbalah, represents that through their symbol of that Star of David. And they do talk about it in some of their texts. And in Chinese, then you have the yin yang. The yin is representative of the female, or the feminine energy. The yang is the representation of the masculine energy. So the union of these two is also another form of completion. It's another form of twin flame energies. And then in the Kabbalion, which is Hermetic philosophy or Hermetic principles, it talks about 7 main principles. And one of them is the principle of gender, which has nothing to do with the physical gender, but more of the energy of it. And so I'll read an excerpt from that Kabbalion excerpt of the principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has the masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. And so that's what the Kybalion says on the Hermetic principles for that, which is related to the twin flame energy, which is this masculine and the feminine energy completing one another. And this can exist in all different levels. It can exist at the chakra level. It exists at the soul level, and it exists at the mental and emotional level as well. So it can be in everything, applied to all things within us. And it is like these microcosms of unions that also build on this macrocosm of union within ourselves. And so that is, the teachings behind that, the twin flame energy and the channeling that I'm receiving on this, to have an understanding on that, because this all boils down to about on our self-love and falling in love with ourselves first, is building these unions within ourselves and creating this whole completed self of us, an independent version of ourselves, independent that we harness that source of love from the source of all that is, that we hold within ourselves, because we have that universal force of energy in us. And so when we awaken to all of this within ourselves, do we start to bring all of us together as well? And so all of this also activates a lot of the law of attraction, which in turn will magnetize your counterpart to you. And so this will bring, about, if it is your soul contract and your soul agreement, it will definitely magnetize the twin flame to you. And so, we'll get more into that as well. So some of the things, the general main mission of twin flame union that I was channeling is, number one, is this unity consciousness. And it's all about unity. It's about being, consciously aware of this unity and working together on that energy. So expanding on it 10 times more when working together. And then the number two is about the oneness. So it does connect to the unity consciousness, but it's also this whole oneness of the energy, of the completion, and working with that energy for all and interconnected with one another. And so with that unity consciousness also comes, that Christ consciousness energy as well. So the third one, it's a birthing of a third point. So it's the third point of manifestation on the triangle. So when you have the 2 points on the triangle, you create a third point, which is the tip of the triangle. And so that is the manifestation that it's being created. So when you have these two triangles together, the twin flame union, it enhances or it expands on that manifestation 10 times more of this creation. So that is why, I heard the term birthing. It's the birthing of a third point. And so, and birthing could be a physical child, right? If that is in the contract, depending on what the mission is for each of the twin flames, could go, very specific level. But these are just very general type, of information that I was receiving and channeled in a moment. And these are like the big, main ones. I'm sure there could be some other ones as well that go along with it. And so with that could be the birthing of physical child, but it could also be the birthing of different projects and relation to the soul mission that they are meant to work together, either on this earth or in other planetary realms, which leads me to jump into the categories of the different twin flames, the information that I was receiving on them. And one of them is, and I was feeling that there may be more, but for the purposes of this, I wanted to focus on these top ones for now. And I think it may lead into some other writing and information that I'll be channeling for these episodes on my podcast. But the number one that I got was the cosmic twin flames. And so their mission is working with the cosmo and galactic activations and planetary energetic movements. And so there are a lot of cosmic masters who have their twin flame counterpart or their twin counterpart and or twin support for these reasons to work on these cosmic level of energies. And the other one, the second one, the universal twin flames. So these are harmonizing the universe and energetically weaving universal energies and birthing new worlds is what I got as information. So they birth new worlds within the universe. And for the multiverse, the next one, the multiverse twin flames, their missions focus on all the multiverse and their birthing of new universe. So they can birth these new universe that support the harmony and the balance of the multiverse itself. So, and then that brings us to the Earth's twin flames. And I'll get into why these categories. But the Earth's twin flames, they harness these other different categories, specializing on one or all of the above, either the cosmic or the universal, the multiverse, or will focus on either one of those categories. And their mission is to establish that balance on Earth and the universe and assist with the ascension and the awakening of this planet. But the future twin flames are going to maintain that balance here on this planet of the ascension, or the completion of the ascension, that is, because that we are in this ascension and awakening right now of the planet that is very intense. And so I feel like the future of the twin flames, it will become much more common, and their sole purpose will be to maintain that balance here on this earth, just like it was in Lemuria and Atlantis and a lot of these other ancient civilizations, where they worked together to establish that balance and maintain the grid system at a certain level. So before I jump into some of these three takeaways, and also three sacred keys to really activate your twin flame magnetism, to attract your twin flame to you, or to enhance your relationship that you may find yourself at this time. So if twin flame is for you, your heart will know, and your heart will tell you what is, because that is the gateway to your soul, which your soul is the one holding those soul contract agreements. And so that is the key to remembering, is through your heart. And I wanted to mention, because there was this recent show on Netflix, which was called Escaping Twin Flames. And I did actually watch it, but it actually made my stomach sick. I really felt that it was very, very dark. So really what it was doing was talking about this cult, that movement that had started that was around the twin flame, but it was very dark. And it was just, one of those things that was actually hurting others. And there's just been a lot of misconception on twin flames. And what I got from that after watching it was that I felt that there was some purging and some clearing going on around twin flames when the separation happened, when we fell from 5D, because originally we were in 5D, but then we fell into 3D in separation. And so the energy shifted. And so what I feel is that a lot of this twin flame energy also died with it, or it just got trampled. And so it just turned into this very shadow and dark period of separation and loneliness. And so that's kind of what I was feeling after watching this show. And I felt that there was this collective purging and cleansing that was occurring for all of us around the energy of the twin flame. Because the twin flame energy can be applied to anything in our life, and doesn't have to be a union, a physical union with someone here on this earth. And so it just all just boils down to our soul contract agreements and what resonates and what's in our discernment in our heart. And so that is the key takeaway also from that show, is to discern and to pay attention to red flags and to be aware of certain situations and not be attached to the idea of something that just because, that you're with your ultimate twin flame, that everything is perfect and that everything is final. And that's not the case. Twin flames come together for different reasons, for different missions and different purpose. It isn't just for romance. And so that's why it's so important to work on yourself before having that union, if that is for you, and really working on yourself. And so that's the part that I'm about to share, about these 3 sacred keys to really magnetize this twin flame energy within yourself, to really activate that law of attraction and attracting more of this twin flame energy through all means. So if it is in your soul contract agreement, you will definitely attract your twin flame partner union to yourself. If that is, in the physical form that is for you to be working on your mission, your purpose in this life. So number 1, work with yourself. So self-healing. So it's so key to really find the healing that you need for yourself, especially if you feel that you have certain wounds and patterns inside of you. And pay attention to what those are and find ways to really break those cycles of completion and find your own healing. And so that number 2, which follows after number 1, that what I just stated, that this will also activate your self-love. So finding ways to activate your self-love through self-care and really taking care of yourself, paying attention to the areas that are most needed right now for your own healing and your own love. And by self-care, it also activates that of your own self-love too. And the final thing to take away is to let go of any expectation or attachment of this twin flame idea. So I know it's kind of like challenging, right? We're talking about it, but then we say let go of it. And honestly, this is just to get an understanding and activation on the information of it, but it's not meant to be attached to it or attached to the idea or the word either. So by letting go, we're also just activating the universal force within ourselves to open up that space and allow the magic to happen in whatever way that is. So as things can unfold in magical ways, we don't have to control the situation, but let the universe do its magic. The work that is needed, though, is the one that you do within yourself. And that work is of your own self-love and working on your own self-healing and your own self-care. And as long as you're doing that work within yourself, the universe will also provide that mirror those reflections within yourself, mirrored in the external world as well. All right, so I am sending you love and sending you twin flame energy of all kind. I will catch you in another episode. Take care. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click like, save, and share with others so they can also experience what you just experienced. And stay tuned for some more high vibe episodes. And I'll be connecting with you in the next quantum field. Sending you so much love.